Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Friday, March 24, 2023. We're still in the Ghana month, and today we're celebrating all workers in the country. My name is Noble Crosby Annan, and welcome to Midday Live from number 35 John Hammond Street here in Accra. Let's take a look at the headlines of the bulletin this afternoon. Coming up this afternoon, Parliament to decide the fate of President Akufo-Addo's new ministerial nominees. Also this afternoon, Ghana Armed Forces Director General of Public Relations says military received thumbs up over its brutalities in Ashaman. We'll bring you some more stories, plus some business news as financing assurance likely after June, according to the financial experts. Plus some international news as 8 more Marburg cases in Equatorial Guinea. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us. You're welcome to the program. Let's start off the bulletin with a story. The fate of President Akufo-Addo's ministerial nominees will be decided in Parliament today after the Speaker deferred voting on them on Thursday night. Although members on both sides of the House did not support the directive, the Speaker stood by his position after a debate that saw much interest from the minority NDC MPs calling for a total vote to reject the nominees. A recap of what transpired on the floor of Parliament on Thursday. Well, it is expected to be a very busy day in Parliament today. Let's cross over and speak with our lead parliamentary correspondent, Komla Klusha, for some insight on the happenings in Parliament so far and what we expect to happen for the rest of the day. Komla, thank you for joining us on the program. The NPP has directed all its MPs to be present in Parliament today. Is that the case?
Yes, of course. That is what we have seen per a letter that's been signed by the General Secretary of the party, Justin Kudi, Frimpong, and it's a majority caucus to be for 2023. The leadership of the New Patriotic Party, following the outcome of the proceedings of Parliament on Thursday, March 23, hereby urges all members of the majority caucus to be present in the House to fully participate in all parliamentary proceedings and voting schedules for the day. This is directive. I mean, it's not the first time that the party is doing this. We've also seen the NDC issue all the 3-line whip to their members on the minority to stay put. In fact, per the directive given by the NDC to its members of parliament, they are not supposed to leave the capital until the 31st of this month, by which time the House is expected to be on break.
So, Komla, on the NDC side of Parliament, how was attendance? Is there a full complement of its 136 MPs?
I mean, for now, quite a good number of them are in here. Per my checks, the NDC MPs do have their 136 members currently seated in the chamber. What it is that as of yesterday, they were short by one, and just this dawn, that MP who was not available as of yesterday has made her way into the House. For the majority side, what I cannot see, or the only MP I cannot see now is Sarah Josabo, who is the Dom Kwabenya MP. She's the only one who has not been seen as of yet. But I mean, in terms of their numbers, if it's 137, the NDC is short of one because of Jachikwason, so they're 136. The NPP MPs do have 136 plus the independent, who is also in the chamber as we speak, but in the exception of Sarah Adjosafo, who is not here.
So, as today is a busy day, we know that the chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, was in Parliament yesterday, also, if you like, to supervise, if you like, the approval of the presidential nominees or otherwise. Have we seen him in Parliament today?
No, I'm actually yet to see him, but they're yet to take the vote. So presumably before the start of the vote, just like we saw yesterday, he walked in just minutes into it. And don't forget, he's also a board member of the parliamentary service.
Right.
So normally he hangs around the administration or the speaker's chamber area. So I've not seen him inside the chamber as of yet, or the public gallery as of yet. I also saw yesterday the General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Kodia Frimpong himself, but he was in the chamber yesterday. I've not seen him around today though. But presumably, if yesterday is anything to go by, it presumes that when the voting is about going on, well, they would be seen there. But as we speak now, currently on the floor is the consideration of the appointment committee report on the justices to the Supreme Court, the two of them, Justice Ernest Gaiwu and another, who were not considered. As we speak now, the consideration is being done, and we are hearing the deputy majority leader, who is a member of the appointment committee, speaking with respect to the consideration for that appointment that has also hung for so long.
Kamala, before you take leave of us, we know that in Parliament today, we may also be looking at the passage of the 3 bills that government is seeking approval for, so it can make some about 4 billion cedis to secure the IMF bailout. How is that looking in Parliament today?
Well, will it happen? Will it not happen? It is a question everybody's asking themselves. Yesterday, it was listed, and as I speak with you, it's been listed again. As to whether it will take place or not, we do not know. Mind you, the NDC MPs are averse to these 3 revenue bills. But the indication I pick up is that they actually want some concessions to be made. The concessions span into the controversial CI. If the Electoral Commission and hearing the majority are able to grant the concessions that they want within the CI, it's likely that the NDC MPs may be giving their blessings to it. From inside sources, my understanding was that yesterday's suspension they had, to which there was a closed door committee of the whole meeting, it was to consider some of these concessions to which we understand agreement was not reached. The NDC MPs are insisting that if they really want them to give the blessing to it, then the CI must be amended, and it has to be amended and properly laid. And once it's laid, they know that whatever they are demanding is in it. And I'm getting the indication that even some majority MPs do side with the NDC MPs that amendment should be made. If this is not done, it still would appear that the NDC MPs will still hold on to their guns and fully reject it. But the point that they are making, or the stance that they have, is that the bills as it is now in the current form that they are vast, and they will reject it anytime that it comes.
Kamala, thank you for those updates. We trust that to keep an eye in Parliament and bring us more in a subsequent bulletins. Kamala Kluche is a parliamentary correspondent there. Now, whilst Parliament is looking into the approval of the new revenue measures as part of efforts to secure the 3 billion IMF deal, China has called on multilateral lenders such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund to offer debt relief to Ghana if they are indeed committed to addressing the country's debt crisis. Now, the World Bank and IMF oppose their inclusion in the debt restructuring, meaning China's call may complicate efforts to restructure Ghana's external debt. The ministry has meanwhile said the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, so far had very positive and encouraging meetings in China. The ministry says they are looking forward to securing external assurances very soon. Let's speak with Professor John Gatchie, who is the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, joining us for some more insight or perspectives into this. Prof, grateful for your time with us on the program. Now, these revenue bills, i.e. the Income Tax Amendment Bill, we're also looking at the Excise Duty and the Excise Stamp Amendment Bill and the Growth and Sustainability Levy. Government hopes to rake in some money, about 3.96 billion this year. This should have been some good news, but some say it will only worsen and not help the economy recover. Do you agree?
Well, I do agree. Are we running a production-based economy, or we are running a tax-based economy? I believe that is what we have been told some time ago, that it's not good for the country, and it cannot be good at this time. Just around January, we have passed the VAT Amendment Act, increasing VAT by 2.5 percentage point, remove the benchmark value from the pot, and all these things have implication for increase in payment by those who are supposed to pay, and then it has implication for price development. It has implication for hardship. So when we do this same thing with the Excise Duty Amendment Bill, we do Growth and Stability Levy. Take the Growth and Stability Levy, for example. This levy affects financial institutions, insurance firms, telecoms, money transfer companies, shipping companies, etc. What you are doing, you have told us that the domestic debt exchange program will have severe effect on the banks. But at the same time, you are imposing before tax a 5% levy on the banks. That is to say that before they calculate the tax that they are supposed to pay, actually, they are required to pay that. And I believe that that is going to worsen things for the business. We are creating an environment which is not friendly to businesses. And I believe we need to consider that.
Prof, China's call on multilateral lenders such as the World Bank and the IMF to offer debt relief to Ghana if they are indeed committed to addressing the country's debt crisis. What's your reaction to that? This call by China, how does it sit with the finance ministry saying that the minister is having positive meetings in China?
Well, when we get to the end of the road, everything will be opened up and we'll know what is really going on. Nobody knows what Ghana is proposing to China as a country. But the message that China is sending is a discouraging message that if IMF wants to support Ghana, it should go ahead and support Ghana. They don't need China to give any blessing to that. So I believe there are difficulties on the way.
Before you take leave of us, Prof, so the government assurance of March ending for Ghana to secure the IMF board approval is likely not to materialize. With the dire state of the economy, any further impact we're likely to see as a result of the lack of fulfillment, if you like?
Well, we already know that the IMF program for March does not include Ghana. So that means that we are out of March. So I don't know why we are still insisting on that. And if we don't get a program by the end of March, what it means is that we just have to keep doing what they have told us to do to see whether we are going to succeed. Then we also need to be looking at the alternative of engaging the IMF to reconsider some of the imposition of preconditions. Those are the things I believe we should be doing. And it should not, we shouldn't create the impression that if we don't get the IMF program, that every part of the economy will collapse. What it means is that serious managers of the economy ought to be putting in place an alternative in case the IMF program doesn't go through, what they should roll out. And that is a duty they must fulfill.
Right. Professor Gatchie, grateful for your time with us on the program. Professor John Gatchie is the Dean of the Business School of the University of Cape Coast, speaking with us there. To some other stories, a rather disturbing one following the incidences in Ashaiman after the military brutality there. The Director General in charge of public relations at the Ghana Armed Forces, Brigadier General Eric Agriquashi, says the military has received thumbs up for their invasion of Ashaiman. He says even though there were regrettable excesses during the operation, there needed to be an action in the area. Brigadier General Agriquashi was speaking at a National Public Relations and Communications Summit of the Institute of Public Relations in Accra.
Let's take Ashaiman, because that is what is trending, maybe for the wrong reasons. But whatever happened in Ashaiman was not something somebody woke up one morning and said, let's go to Ashaiman. No. So many things are taking place, and our soldier dying became like the last straw that broke the camel's back. Ashaiman is a place, there are certain sections that even the police cannot go and effect arrest. They won't dare. Somebody commits a crime and you can't go there to even arrest the person. And so we're tracking certain events.
The number of calls that I've received and the institution has received, thanking us for the actions in Ashaiman. You see, but people are asking that, oh, General, so why would you do that again? Because if you live within that enclave and at a certain time of the day, you couldn't go to certain areas, and these things happen, you appreciate. Funny thing is that some of the pictures that people saw were pictures taken by soldiers and posted on their Facebook and WhatsApp pages. Now, it's not a media personnel who even got those things, and it's something we are dealing with.
For the security services, we are looking at the national security posture of the situation. But some of our actions are not things that are planned. Unfortunately, the Ashaiman incident, there were a lot of excesses. We saw it ourselves. But if I have asked a soldier to go and do something, and he goes beyond, I can't come and stand in the public and chastise that soldier. Tomorrow I won't get him to do anything at all. So I have to take the bashing. And that is why when everybody was bashing, I kept quiet. Because we ourselves were complaining that some of the things they were doing was just too much. But in the public space, there is nobody who will come and condemn the person he has asked to go and do so. Even if he has done something wrong, we'll find a way of dealing with him. Other than that, you won't get him doing anything again. For me to say something is regrettable, it means that I'm not happy with it. And so, you see, we are dealing with two publics here. The military public is there, and then the civil public is also there. And so we should be able to tread that thin line so as in trying to appease you, they will receive internal bashing. Because within the military itself, at times they don't even consider us as military people.
So these comments by the Brigadier General has divided a lot of opinions on social media, and the residents of Ashaiman have something to say. Emmanuel Kumade, as convener of Ashaiman Lives Matter, is now joining us for some reactions to the comments by the Brigadier General. Emmanuel, thank you for joining us. What are your reactions to these comments following the brutalities and even the death of one of the residents?
Comments are rather unfortunate. The brigadier was double speaking. Wrong is yes, wrong is wrong. In one vein, you can't say that you send the people there to engage in unlawful acts and there were excesses, so you condemn the excesses. Sending the military to Ashaiman in the first place was a wrong thing. So wrong is wrong. It's trying to please the military public, which is wrong. If the military has done something wrong, it is wrong. We are under the rule of law. So if the military have done what is unlawful, it is unlawful. It's just as simple as that.
Emmanuel, again, what would be your expectations of Parliament and the other relevant state authorities to a comment like this?
Yes, it was just last week Thursday. The Committee on Defense and Interior of Parliament visited the victims as well as the family of the slain soldier. And when they came, their tone was rather reconciliatory. And we think that that was an appropriate posture to begin with. So just about a week after their visits, the brigadier cannot be heard by saying the things he was saying. It's rather unfortunate. Yes. And it should be condemned by any meaningful citizen or institution in Ghana. Wrong is wrong.
Right.
Yes.
Emmanuel Kumade, I'd like you to hold on for a minute as I engage Emmanuel Koting, who is a security analyst, also on the back of the comments by the Brigadier General. Mr. Koting, grateful for your time with us on the program. When you heard the PRO of the Ghana Armed Forces saying that, what went through your mind? Emmanuel Koting, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please unmute your microphone. Or trying to reach security analyst Emmanuel Koting there for some reactions following the comments by
Hello, can you hear me now?
Right, I can hear you, Mr. Koting.
Well, thank you for having me, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. It's quite a very unfortunate statement to be coming from the PRO of the Ghana Armed Forces. What brings to the fore is that the army clearly is struggling to define its role in a democracy. You know, he made mention of the civilian population and that of the army population. In a democracy, we don't have any of such segregations. And we, as a people, have to find a way to really help the military by way of training. It looks as if the military is still living in the past. Because if you look at what happened in Ashaman, as investigation has clearly established, it was an armed robbery gone wrong. And the slain soldier could have been a civilian too. So in as much as the life of the soldier matters, so is the civilian. So I think as a country, we have a national security problem in our hands because we have ungoverned spaces dotted across the country. Ashama is one, we have Nima. If you go to almost every region of this country, we have such ungoverned spaces. So it's now left with national security architecture to establish a strategy in dealing with these matters. It doesn't lie with the military to do the abominable act they did in Ashama, sort of brutalizing innocent civilians. Such actions have no place in any civilized society. And let us be frank, right? What happened in Ashama? You realize the soldiers saying that to chastise the junior officers means that when they give them work in the future, they will not do. It means it was an illegitimate command. Because if you look at the service code of the Ghana Army, there are penalties for disobeying a legitimate command. So it looks as if the Ghana Army is even struggling to whip its personnel in line. And this brings to the fore the problem we have always spoken about, the way we recruit our personnel into our various security services.
Right.
We are now heading towards regime security as against national security, which is so unfortunate. And I want to also call on Parliament, using what happened in the US, the attack on Congress, and we all saw how civilized societies conduct investigations and stuff.
Okay.
So we should be drawing such lessons, and I think Parliament is not serving the interests of the Ghanaian public. Beyond the Defense and Interior Committee intervention in Ashama, Parliament should not even wait for that to happen. I think Parliament has to wake up, step in, and conduct a thorough investigation
Right.
that will restore credibility into our democracy.
Cotting,
Otherwise,
Mr. Cotting, before you take leave of us, let me ask you this. So that comment has been passed already. What reaction do you expect from the military high command and other relevant states, institutions, authorities in relating to the comment that the Brigadier General passed?
I think first of all, the military need to come out and apologize to the good people of this country. After that, they can have programs and systems in place to engage the civilian population. And that will bring the confidence back. Because I'm afraid how we are going to gather intelligence in our fight against terrorism if we treat civilians with this kind of disdain.
Right. Mr. Emmanuel Cotting, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. We're speaking with security analyst Emmanuel Cotting there, but earlier was the convener of the Ashaman Lives Matter, Emmanuel Kumade, who also joined us for some perspectives, also condemning the comments by the Brigadier General, by the PR of the Ghana Armed Forces. This is a subject we're staying on here at TV3. Join us in the subsequent bulletins for more reactions. You could also let us know what you think on any of our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Now to some other stories. As the world celebrates World Tuberculosis Day, experts are demanding a structured funding of the disease with a call on the president to treat TB in the same vein as HIV/AIDS. Out of $18 million needed to fight the disease, only $7 million is allocated yearly, a phenomenon Dr. Market Mwani, MP for Namdam, finds disturbing.
Here, our problem has to do even with the diagnosis, and that is the TB machine that is used to diagnose TB, what is known as the GenExpert. There are about 168 of such machines in this country, as against 261 districts, which means that there are about 93 districts that do not have the TB expert machine. And that is affecting our ability to diagnose the disease. And so we are expecting that we should put in an effort to get these machines. And then what we call the digital X-ray. The digital X-ray, we have only about 73 in the whole country. And that simply is not enough. In the local program, we require about $18 million a year to be able to carry out the TB program. But even with donor support and with what the government can provide, the National TB program is able to get only $7 million. That is far below the $80 million that is required for the program. A high-level meeting be held by all stakeholders, that's government officials, non-state actors, civil societies, and businessmen, to discuss the issue of complementing the current financial model of TB.
Well, it is an academic requirement for nursing students to embark on clinicals in health facilities to gain practical experience. However, the lack of transportation in some nursing training colleges can affect this requirement. In the following report, my colleague Christopher Marco tells a story of how students of Bengbe Nursing and Midwifery Training College in the Savannah region struggle to get students to health facilities for clinicals.
It's one of the core practical trainings for student nurses. It is designed to provide practical hands-on experience on caring for patients in different healthcare settings like hospitals and clinics. To fulfill this academic requirement, nursing students are sent to health facilities every semester. But this has become a challenge for management of the Kwembi nursing and midwifery students, as the only vehicle that transports students for this academic exercise has been grounded. In 2011, the school received a vehicle from the Ministry of Health. However, with the pressure on the vehicle, it has been off-road for the past 2 years. The Student Representative Council in 2016 procured a bus to support the transportation of students for clinicals. but that has been broken down due to pressure. Speaking on the sidelines of a water commissioning and 15th matriculation ceremony of the Kwembi Nursing and Midwifery Training College, principal of the college, Hajia Shelley Issa, describes the situation as worrying.
2 buses, but one has broken down and it's left with only one. And that one too is fairly in a good condition. So sometimes moving the students from Kwembi to Salga Hospital becomes a challenge. And even sending them out for clinicals to Bandai, Bimbula, Tamale, and the rest, we find it very difficult. There are instances that we have to rely on private transport. And sometimes some of these private transports can even go and break down, and then we have to start running helter-skelter to look for means of transport for them. So we wish that stakeholders, especially the government, the Ministry of Health, can come to our aid in this regard.
She also spoke about inadequate accommodation for the growing number of students.
Classroom accommodation. Currently, we have about 1,400 students, and then some of them we don't have enough classrooms. And then we are most likely to run the two BSc programs come academic, so we need classrooms for those programs. And apart from that, too, we also have some hostel challenges. We know we have hostels on campus, but due to the number of students, it's not all of them that have accommodation on campus. And you bear with me that having accommodation on campus will help instill discipline in the students.
The Kwembi Nursing and Midwifery Training College was established in 2008. Currently, the school runs programs in Registered General Nursing, Diploma in Midwifery, Post-Basic Midwifery, and Nurse Assistant Clinicals.
Away from that, traffic congestion on major roads in Accra remains a setback for many commuters and motorists. Christine Yali monitored the situation on the Legon-Shashi stretch and reports.
It is 6:18 a.m. Here I stand enjoying the fluid traffic situation on the Okponglo-Shashi Road. Both Accra-bound commuters and those heading the opposite direction to Medina are having a smooth ride. But as the sun rises, between 7 a.m. and 8:40 a.m., this stretch is plunged into heavy vehicular traffic. Oh, the rage. Commuters to work from Mondays to Fridays will tell you the kind of heart attack one can get just at the sight of the traffic on this route. In worst-case scenarios, the traffic on this route is enough to make you cry. This driver tells me they burn fuel needlessly over a short distance. Passengers can spend almost an hour on this short stretch from Legon to Shashi, missing productive hours.
Sometimes we wake up early, but because we reach work, because of the traffic, we didn't get anything for the day.
He adds that aside from expanding the road, authorities can consider constructing an interchange to ease the congestion.
This way they have to make overhead here so that the traffic can be flowing.
There is never a day you won't get frustrated by a bumper-to-bumper traffic here. As I monitored, the other side heading to Medina also began to build up. According to this driver, the situation affects their daily sales.
We get stuck on the road, and this affects us. We are unable to make enough road trips.
Eventually, a police MTTD officer intervened to salvage the situation. Passengers who cannot stand the situation employ the services of these motor riders. And the Okada riders say they are cashing in on the situation.
When there is heavy traffic, if someone wants to go fast, we drop from the car, then they'll come and pick the motorbike.
So when there's traffic, like how many customers can you get, for instance?
Oh, if the traffic stays for long, maybe you get like maybe 15 customers for a day.
How does the country eradicate vehicular traffic on roads? Can various authorities meet to dialogue to breed solutions to the traffic situation in Accra? But as it is said, time is money, and so any time lost in traffic is money wasted. I have had my fair share of this situation, I will advise you go as early as possible. Christian Yali, TV3 News, Okponglo, Accra.
Well, any time lost in traffic is indeed money lost. This is Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosbiano. Going for a quick break. We'll come back and bring you more stories. Stay with us.
OneXBet, reliable bookmaker with high odds, wide selection on events, and bonuses for every taste. OneXBet, easy use, easy win.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me kwan point no mo hwe me mogya mu no mo he bibia na so mo medu a me fae no ene ma won kra me enu foforo kwa na me kwan mu a eba head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Johnson sema na enkoyie e person na ma yemre nyina na magina sebema na me no be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. I'm free. Crime belly yo.
Open your eyes. People fall and they rise. Make you no worry about the things you know we change, the things you know we do today, you go do them tomorrow.
Wow, this girl's got talent. You too can change your world, and it's affordable with Airtel Tigo data bundles.
Bring your dreams to life with the best data bundles only on Airtel Tigo. Dial *111# now.
Airtel Tigo, life is simple.
You're welcome to the business segment of the bulletin. Well, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Upstream Petroleum Chamber, David Ampeful, has warned government to respect the stability agreement it signs with multinational companies in the oil industry. This follows the government's decision to impose new taxes as it aims to raise additional revenues. These include the Growth and Sustainability Levy, which imposes a 1% tax on the gross production of oil companies, as well as 5% tax on profit before tax. Speaking in an interview with 3 Business, Mr. Ampeful said government cannot unilaterally impose new taxes without extensive consultations with industry players.
It's very important that, we keep our word, and that's what I mean when I say contract sanctity. When you have agreements that spell out tax, issues, and then you proceed every now and then to introduce something as though those agreements in a sense didn't exist. You kind of it's a breach of faith, isn't it? I mean, people get worried about it because you can never be sure if taxes can just be introduced as and when you have your plans and you've done your plans based on the taxes you had agreed. These are the things that are concerning, and it's so important that we're careful with these things, and we do them in a way that does not sort of knock confidence. I mean, for example, you might, if it's such a critical thing, you might want to engage in a little more detail with them so they can expect it and know why, and maybe you find a way. There may even be suggestions from them about other sources of you.
Well, still in business news, former Finance Minister Seth Terkper has raised concerns government may not be able to pay interest on maturing Treasury bills by the end of March due to the country's current financial deficit. He says the T-bills and bonds market will suffer the consequences with a delayed IMF program. He spoke exclusively to Through Business.
If you consider that in the last 3 months, let's say from February, even if you don't go back to January or December, we have been relying almost exclusively on Treasury bills, which have a 90-day maturity. Then what have we been doing? Are we able, at the end of 90 days, to pay them off? You can only pay them off by borrowing if you don't have the cash. So you have to borrow to do what is called a rollover. Then continue paying interest. So the issue first is, are you able to generate more income from GRA, which is unable to generate the income anyway. That's why you have a deficit, and that's why we have the issues. Are you able to roll over? If we were able to roll over, we wouldn't be doing debt exchange. You cannot continue borrowing 90 days to finance major infrastructure projects. But remember, the debt exchange is only a postponement, right? And that will also catch up with you. You're only postponing paying a lower rate of interest, which is the haircut, and then, but the principal sum is there. And it has one day, the time you promise to pay will also come. So the earlier, we get the IMF resources complemented by the World Bank and others, the better it will be for the economy.
Now, the UK High Commissioner to Ghana has urged the government to provide incentives that would discourage businesses and practices that harm the environment. Harriet Thompson, in an exclusive interview with Through Business, called on local businesses to explore the carbon market for innovative financing to expand the operations while protecting Ghana's green ecosystem. The carbon market provides incentives for environmentally friendly business practices.
At the moment, there are a lot of people in Ghana who are struggling because their land is no longer viable for agriculture, because the water bodies on which they and their communities rely are polluted through mercury as a result of illegal mining, irresponsible mining. So partly this is about avoiding those downsides. The next challenge that conversations like the one that's happened here today, I hope, will address is how to ensure that the financing that comes in from carbon markets makes it to those communities. It's not just enough to say to people, you're going to receive this money for protecting the forests where you live. Those people also need alternative forms of livelihoods. They need activities, productive activities, in order to keep them engaged. Part of that might be around helping to protect the forest, but there are also options around ecotourism and around forest products, sustainable forest products. So it's a really important part of the conversation. This isn't going to work unless local communities are brought along and actually benefiting from carbon markets.
Now, Bloomberg is reporting that a group of independent power producers have rejected government proposal to restructure about $1.4 billion in arrears. According to the report, the companies are urging government to honor payments due starting this Friday. Now, the independent power producers, according to the report, is asking government to meet the payment it owes to 6 of its members or face the possible shutdown of power plants. The independent power generators of Ghana is an umbrella association known as IPP, which represents 8 foreign and 1 local supplier. They include Amandi, Sinon, Asogli, Akaza Energy, Car Powership, Genpa, Senate Energy, amongst others. The request, according to the IPP, is to enable them service bank loans and pay input suppliers. Well, that's your business. Coming up next, sports with Kevin Oswansa. Stay with us.
They say the cars we drive says a lot about us. Therefore, are you looking at doing an upgrade, a modification, or even adding an accessory to your car, but want it done by professionals? Then you are welcome to DCM Ghana. At DCM, we do interior and exterior upgrades and modification for all car makes, models and years, be it body kits, modified or upgraded headlights and tail lights, ambience lights, LED bulbs, Android radios and headrests, push-to-start systems, alarms, GPS trackers, starry lights and more for all cars. Do you have worn-out car seats, dashboards, floors and ceilings and want them changed into an amazing look? Then come to us. Let us put our professional handcrafted masterpiece touch to the interior of your car with premium high quality materials. DCM Ghana, we say enjoy driving.
You know what I love? My family, my friends, and of course you. And that's why I found it important to get the COVID jab. Also, I want you to go and take the jab so we can all live a happy and healthy life for a long time. The numbers are rising. That means COVID is still out there. Go and get the jab. The vaccine is safe. Of course, I love my life.
It's Anthony Bobin! Prosper! What is this man on?
I started Ghana's strongest journey since 2019.
With 120 kg, and he has it!
It has not been an easy journey. Through hard work, strength, and determination. I tried 3 times before I finally won.
Ghana's strongest man, Prosper Dakora Debi!
Life has been amazing ever since. I drove away a car. I don't intend giving up my title. I believe that I am the strongest man in Ghana.
Do you think you are the next Ghana Strongest? Then join the audition screenings on the 17th of March in Kumasi, Frames Complex, Takrady, 19th of March at the Takrady Shopping Mall, on the 21st of March, Ho Technical University Park, and finally in Accra on the 25th of March at the TV3 premises. Come and compete to be titled as the strongest man in Ghana.
Some things are for rare men only. Them dead!
Ghana Strongest, the power to do.
You're welcome to the program. Sports News is up next. Kevin also on side. Kevin, what do you have for us?
Well, it's time to just put some finishing to some painting the Black Stars did yesterday.
Nice one.
Yeah. Well, on to sports, my name is Kelvin Owusu-Ansah, and Bournemouth Antoine Semenyo recorded a 97th minute winner against Angola to give Chris Hughton the first victory in his competitive game as Ghana Bulls. The former Brighton manager Hughton, who is 64, was appointed Black Stars Bulls in February, his first managerial position since he was sacked by Nottingham Forest in September 2021. Semenyo scored his first goal for his country from a free kick, and the win means Ghana are top of their Africa Cup of Nations qualifying Group E with 7 points, followed by Angola and Central African Republic on 4 points each. Madagascar sits at the base of the standings with just a point. On match day 4, Ghana face Angola in Luanda on Monday as Central African Republic play Madagascar. Now, just after the game, Chris Hughton lauded the supporters who showed their support to the team on his first game as Ghana Bulls, whilst praising his team for their efforts in getting the late winner.
Hello. Yeah. So, first of all, I'd like to thank the people of Kumasi for creating such an incredible atmosphere, and I have no doubt that the fact that we scored the goal as late as what we did was a factor for the crowd that we had. So I think a big thank you from myself and obviously all the players. I thought we started the game well, and sometimes in this game you have to get your goal or your goals in when you are having your better period in the game. Probably the disappointment is that when we came out at second half, we wasn't able to, I think, replicate what we did in the first half. And the difficulty becomes if you haven't scored and you don't have a lead, the game becomes open. And when the game becomes open, it can go either way. So I think we had enough opportunities in the opposition box. But of course, if we don't score them goals, it puts pressure on ourselves. And I thought we were up against a good and very well organised Angola team. But credit to the team and the players that showed great spirit and determination. And I think when I was here a few days ago, you know, it's a win, and that's the most important thing.
Well, there's more national team football for Ghanaians, and the Olympic team are in the second round of the Under-23 African Nations Cup qualifiers, with the first leg coming on in Annaba tonight at 9 p.m. against Algeria. Head coach Ibrahim Tanko reveals the Meteors know their opponent very well and are ready to give their very best for a victory.
It's good, and we hope that it's going to be a very good day for us. We knew our opponent and before we came, and I mean we played Algeria before the last one. We won against them to go to the Africa Cup. So, and the boys are ready and they know what they can do. So we hope that we'll have a very good day.
Now away from Ghana, Lionel Messi scored his 800th top-level goal as Argentina defeated Panama in their first match since winning the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. The 35-year-old Paris Saint-Germain forward becomes the second player to reach the milestone after Cristiano Ronaldo. Messi's tally includes 672 goals over 17 seasons for Barcelona and 29 final. Messi will have the opportunity to score his 100th international goal when Argentina play Curacao on Tuesday. Well, that will be all for sports this afternoon here on Middle Life. My name is Kelvin Owusu, and Sir John Duala. The best nest on the continent comes your way with entertainment.
Good afternoon. Let's do some entertainment updates here on Midday Live. My name is Noella. Now, as part of our mandate as New Entertainment to shed light on the unsung nominees for the 24th Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, we share a piece on Aya Ramsey B. He speaks on his journey before the nominations, some of his challenges, and how he overcame them. Aya Ramsey B is another nominee for the 24th VGMA Unsung Artist of the Year, and I am definitely going to be speaking to him.
Oh, look, it's nice.
I mean, you've been around for some time. Finally being, nominated for the VGMA Unsung, what does this mean to you?
It means a lot to me. It's a stepping stone, and more there, or you need because we have a lot of artists. Yeah, what you did, what born more than Atasa. Now, my back was select my back on best six. The mundo in Yanko Ponishation or hard working. So now I'm able to do this. So I give thanks to God. I'm very happy, trust me.
Let's go a bit into your journey, starting music. What are some of the challenges that you've encountered and how have you overcome them?
Charlie, it wasn't easy, but Bibiano, I think I'm easy. But Mr. Easy imposed on easy. I think the on the phone, your chassis will be able to baby. To able to baby now light and also to young day or today we are doing something right. It's I didn't mean only year at us, yeah, because 15 years more game on the phone at us, a group. you might my be solo artist, my the artist of the year or Western region. At Asana CC as Nyamiatom VGMA on sang artist make home. So Charlie Mudanya Coupon ye biamo.
I mean, for 15 years and still counting. Don't you think, you know, you should have been nominated for a different category and not unsung?
Oh, why, Charlie? Every platform is a platform. Okay, yeah, so I'm more on somewhere big. The whole GH will be a show. Even outside GH will be a show. So on sang, you know, Charlie is big for me, and I'm still working hard. From on sang, I'll go to artist of the year. Trust me.
Do you think there's something that you did differently that got you this nomination?
Of course, I did my best. I really worked very hard. Manda atasa because I know the Edo Bilapon Obia you good into no manda do or a time, but at the time let's on a year time the bit Marco atasa so me my best year juma because it's not only Western region, Timoko all regions in there, me the Mondro me performance show, you know, I did my best. Mando. Yeah, it's intimate time no so there was. And time no post also ba. My year there was more to come.
While still diagnosing the state of the entertainment industry, Ghanaian female rapper Frida Rhymes has opened up about why she left her former record label, Black Avenue Music. Speaking on Plaza FM yesterday, the self-acclaimed rap goddess shared what she believed was the cause of her stunted growth at the label.
Black definitely had my best interest at heart. That's why he signed me onto his record label. I thought like I was going to get, you know, that necessary push right there. But then when I got on there, you know, because there was so many artists, you know, you have to take time for every artist to release a project before you can, you know, but sometimes your fans will be asking or demanding a song and stuff like that. But because it's a lot of people or a lot of artists on there, you have to like, you know, hold on sometimes, and it was kind of like frustrating to me. So, yeah, we had a studio at BAM, so recording wasn't really a problem, but you know, releasing, because we were about 7 artists, and he was promoting everyone at the time. You know, so together, so you know, you have to wait.
So many things would have slowed me. Remember when they left me on the road, I was lonely.
Well, and that's it for the current health state of the entertainment industry. My name is Nurse Loera. I'll be handing over to Dr. Crosby right now.
Nurse Noella, thank you so much for bringing us entertainment. Enjoy your ward rounds. I'll join you there shortly. Let's bring you some international news now. Well, the Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi has appointed the country's former Vice President Jean-Pierre Bemba, who was imprisoned for more than 10 years of war crimes, as defense minister in a sweeping government reshuffle. His appointment was part of an overhaul of the 57-member cabinet, which the president's spokesperson said was urgent and necessary in an announcement on national television. Now, the reshuffle, which was more extensive than observers had predicted, comes just months before a presidential election on December 20, in which Tshisekedi is likely to seek a second term. Well, that's our package this afternoon. My name is Noble Crosby, and you could always log on to our website, 3news.com, for more news. It's weekend. Enjoy the weekend when it comes. And on behalf of the production team, thank you so much for watching the program. We're still in the Ghana month. And from Dr. Crosby, good afternoon. Bye-bye.
This program is rated U. It contains no scene, action, or dialogue that could be construed as disturbing, harmful, or offensive. It is suitable for all ages.